I'm going to revisit how I attended my first interview at an EV firm, the mistakes I made, and the positives that may have convinced the interviewer to select me for the position. My first job was an associate engineer at one of the most reputed electric vehicle business solution companies. I first joined the company as an intern and was later hired as an associate. The interview had two parts, one technical session and an HR interview. At the time, while pursuing my MTech in power systems, we received a call for internship opportunities through a professor. We sent our resumes to the company. Back then, we didn't have artificial intelligence tools to polish the resumes, but I did my best to make sure that my CV is factually accurate and grammatically correct. 3 of us were shortlisted for the internship interview. We also had some college mates working in the same department of the company as interns. We contacted them to ask about the interview process and work expectations. The first mistake that I did was not researching the company in depth before the interview. Fortunately, they didn't ask many questions about it during the process. We all went to attend the interview, making sure to carry all necessary certificates, 2 sheets of white paper, and a pen. Naturally, we dressed formally because the first impressions still matter. We reached the office in the morning but had to wait until the evening to begin, as the interviewer was occupied with important official meetings. We waited eagerly for him to arrive, and finally, the interview process began. I was the first candidate called in. As soon as I entered the room, the interviewer's opening question was, "Why are you late?" I was surprised, but I replied, "We arrived in the morning and have been waiting for a long time to start." At the time, I thought it was just a casual question, but later with more experience, I realized that even such simple questions matter. They can reveal a lot about your character, and an experienced interview can analyze your attitude and composure through the way you respond. Then he asked for my degree certificates and I handed it over. It's important to note that you should not hand over all your documents at once if the interviewer asks only one. He then asked, "Why are your scores low?" I responded, "The score is not that low, it's actually well above average." Then he asked some questions about the speed control of electric motors. I answered them based on my knowledge. My response wasn't perfect, but it was reasonably good. There were also questions related to my academic project at college. The following question was about MATLAB software. He asked me if I knew coding and explained that the company was conducted electric vehicle simulation studies, where most of the team members were experts in MATLAB programming. I mentioned that I was more comfortable with C programming. He then asked me to write a C program for a specific task. I don't recall the exact problem now, but I was able to write it successfully. While I was writing the answer, the interviewer went through my resume in detail. He then asked why I hadn't published any technical papers. I replied that I didn't know how to write one and lacked proper motivation and guidance. He told me that if I were selected, I should write 2 technical papers related to the work. I responded confidently, "Sure, I will do it." After the technical round, I was informed that there would be an HR round and asked to wait outside. My friends attended their technical interviews as well, and once those were completed, the HR round began. The HR interviewer greeted me with a good evening and offered me a chair. She reviewed my resume, which she had already received via the email from our college. One of her questions was about volunteering at technical exhibition during graduation. The moment made me realize that an important lesson. If you include something in your resume, you must be prepared to explain it clearly. My communication skills were tested during the HR interview. Looking back, I realized that my communication was not that strong as it should have been. The key lesson that I learned is mastering in communication skill is essential, whether it is customer handling, project discussions, or professional collaboration. So if you are preparing for any interview, make sure to improve your linguistic and communication skills through regular practice. The interviewer also asked my willingness to work at the company's location, as it was in another state. I responded that it would be possible for me to live there, as I had experience living in places far away from my hometown during coaching classes. Through various questions, they tested the skills such as teamwork, work ethics, strengths and weaknesses. Since the interview was for an internship position with fixed package, there were no questions about the expected salary. The entire interview process lasted around 1 hour. Afterward, we returned from the company to our college. Because the resumes had been shared directly to the company through our college, we didn't get an opportunity to send a thank you mail after interview. After a few days, I received a call from the company to join as an intern. That experience made me realize how much intrapersonal skills, technical knowledge, the way you respond to the questions, your behavior, the communication skills all matter in an interview process. I was a fresh graduate with an experience of attending only 2 interviews before. After completing the internship, I was interviewed again for a job at the company. This time many questions were asked, including the classic one, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" At that time, I didn't know how to effectively prepare for an interview in electric vehicle domain, but somehow everything fell into place. That journey inspired me to help fresh graduates move from feeling underprepared and overwhelmed by the EV industry job market to confidently secure positions in the field. You can achieve this by mastering EV related topics and acing your interviews, ultimately enabling you to contribute to the sustainable technology and feel accomplished in your career. If you like to attend EV interviews with full confidence, just contact me. Thanks a lot for watching.